Hello, welcome to this video on Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 7, verse 56. As usual, I shall recite the verse without text and then call up the text. Ye sattva manavijita varakaste namaninaha mani shatru vashannaiti mana shatru vashaschate. Now with the text, I will enlarge it for you. There we are. Ye sattva manavijita varakaste namaninaha mani shatru vashannaiti mana shatru vashaschate. Now, in this verse, and I think in a couple of the verses following as well, we're seeing a slight play on words, or rather a play on meanings by Shantideva, in that the word mana, typically translated as pride, is from the word, just the ordinary root man, meaning to think. And it bears the idea of what you think about yourself, your concept of yourself. In fact, our English word conceit comes via French, from the Latin conceptus, one's concept of oneself. And a conceit, therefore, is kind of a wrong concept, an overinflated concept. So we see in this part of the Bodhicaryavatara, Shantideva talking about two different categories of mana. The useful mana, the useful pride, the pride that helps you to do the right things, the pride that says you can do it, and equally the unuseful or unskillful pride, just getting puffed up with how wonderful you are, rather than getting on with what is skillful. So let us look at the text then. Ye sattva. Ye is the relative pronoun or relative adjective here, meaning which or whichever. Ye sattva, whichever beings. And you will find that where you have ye, whichever beings, then you have to repeat te, those namanina. Those are not. Those are people without pride. So, literally, which beings are conquered by pride? Ye sattva manavajita te namanina. They have no true pride. Sattva, meaning a being, from our root, the root as, to be, sat, being, sattva. Notice that the verbal suffix twa, which makes an abstract noun, is normally neuter, but where it refers to a being, as in a human being, then it becomes masculine. That's why we have ye sattva, which beings, or those beings who, mana vijita, pride conquered, that is conquered by pride. That's the wrong sort of pride. Let's call that vanity. So, ye sattva mana vijita, those beings who are conquered by vanity. Varakaste, that is varakaste, te, they, varaka, are wretches. Manina, not people of mana, people of true pride, good pride. This word varaka, of rather uncertain origin, but look how close it is to our English word wretch, and it means the same thing, a wretch. We've got the v, our English w, we've got the r, the English r. In ancient times, that would have been pronounced something like a vr or a vr, and the K, which we see in the form of the sound ch there. So it is highly likely that this Varaka has, from Sanskrit and earlier, even earlier than Vedic, has come into English in that not that much changed form, Varaka, a wretch, and with the same kind of meaning, just miserable, lowly people. So Varakahte, wretches are they, the verb to be missed out, just wretches they. Varakaste, you see the Varakaste, te becomes aste by Sandhi. Namanina, not people of true, good mana. I've done a note down below of, should I do it in this one? No, I did a more detailed note in for verse. Sorry, bear with me. Sorry, I lost it. I lost the place. I'm back now. Is in verse 59 under the phrase manino vijayinascha. I've done a fuller note on the meaning of that in the most common, my favorite example. What's the meaning of the? Sorry, I'm mucking all this up. Yeah, sorry about that. Here we are again. This manin, mana. Let me share my iPad with you. Which has now disappeared. Sorry, more technical problems for a moment. Sorted out, I think. Mana, which we can translate as pride, good or bad. And a person who has pride is a manin. Instead of the a, you change that to the suffix in. In the masculine singular form, that in just becomes a long e, a mani. Accusative, it would be maninam. Genitive, maninaha. Also nominative plural, same as the genitive singular. Maninaha. So in this verse, the form that we see, the maninaha, is the masculine plural nominative, mana, manin, maninaha. And we all know the example becomes so common it's come into English, yoga and a yogi. A yogi is a person who does yoga. Now the stem form is yogin. The accusative of it would be a yoginam, masculine plural, yoginaha. But the in becomes a long e in the masculine singular, so that's why we say yogi, not yogin. Now to the second line. Mani shatru vashannaiti, mana shatru vasashtate. Now here's the evident use of mana in its two distinct senses. The mani here, here's an example of the masculine nominative singular, plural maninaha, singular, masculine singular mani. So the mani, that's a person with good pride. Naiti, that's na, eti, he does not go. Shatru vasham, literally enemy power, as under the power of the enemy. This word vasha can be used as, is mostly used as a noun, and it can also be used as an adjective in compound. So vasha, it means power, but not in the same way as bala. The word bala, meaning power or strength, is like an inner power. That the power or strength that a person or thing has within. Vasha is power in the sense of having power over another person or thing. And that's how it's used here. Shatru Vasham, enemy power, meaning the power of the enemy. Na eti. So literally, na eti, he does not go. Shatru Vasham, to the power of the enemy. So in other words, he does not come under the power of the enemy or fall under the control of the enemy. So the mani, the man with true pride, Shatruvasham Naiti, Naeti, by something Naiti Shatruvasham, does not go under the control of the enemy. Mana Shatruvashashate. Now here, Vasha is used as the final member of the compound, Mana Shatruvasha. Sorry, I've lost my text boxes again now. Vasha here means as an adjective, or rather at the end of a compound, making the entire compound an adjective. Mana Shatruvasha, pride, enemy, control, means under the control of the enemy. Pride. So if you look at this part of the compound, the Shatruvasha means enemy control, meaning under enemy control. And it now means it's an adjective describing the person who is under the control of the enemy. Well, it's the enemy controlled. And we have a compound within a compound here. So we have the Manashatru. Look at that together as a Karmadharya compound. That's where that is the enemy, which is pride, or the enemy, comma, pride. It's equating them, identifying it. So take Manashatru Vasha. Now as a compound adjective, Vasha under the power of the Manashatru, under the power of that enemy, which is pride. And Cha and Te. So they are Manashatru Vashaha. They are under the control, under the power of that enemy, which is pride. So I will read it once more. Ye sattva manavijita varakaste namanina mani shatru vashannaiti mana shatru vashashchate. And that concludes this video on verse 56.